Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about colour saturation and how to achieve, when you see the pros and the tattooing with the machines and they're getting these really nice solid colours in, or the nice colour blends, that are just tapering off and everything's smooth and flowing. And when I first started tattooing, to be honest, I used to fear colour. I was alright with black and grey, but I could never seem to get the colour just how I wanted it, Colour was one thing that I did struggle with in the beginning. I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to achieve nice solid colour or nice colour blends just with a really simple trick. In this video, again, if you subscribe to my channel and you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I use a lot of analogies, and this video is going to be no different. I'm going to use an analogy today, and hopefully once you've watched this video you'll bear this in mind when you're tattooing in future, the thought process behind why we're doing what we're doing. So for this analogy, I'm using a paintbrush, which is going to be my Magnum, my tattoo needle, and I'm going to be using for the ink, we've got some paint, just some standard green paint, okay? Now, this is just dipping into the paint or ink with the needle, my brush, and doing these circles, like you've probably been told to do on numerous occasions, so you get your tattoo machine, it's running, you've dipped into your ink, okay, and now we're going to start doing these circles. Okay, so you wipe off. Right, okay, that's patchy, okay? That's going to heal, it's going to look horrendous when it's healed. If you look at a lot of tattoos on the internet, done by people that are not very clued up and don't really know what they're doing, you'll see this quite a lot, this effect. And so what they do is, they go, okay, the colour's not in, I've wiped off, okay, and give it some more. So they dip in again into the colour, and they go for it again. Doing nice circles. Okay, and I'll try and go over there where that patching bit is. And while you're doing this, the ink's pooling round the area, so it's looking like it's going in, and you wipe off, and again, it's even more patchy, and now I've got blood coming out because I'm starting to overwork the area. And if you get into this situation, let me just zoom in on there so you can see that. If you get into this situation, all you're going to do, guys, you're going to scar people up, and you're going to just create a massive mess on the skin, basically. And because what you're doing is you're trying to put this ink in and it's not going in, so you're repeating what you're doing, and you're doing it, overworking the skin, and basically what will happen is the skin will reach a stage where it's that overworked, it's that torn up. You've heard the phrase hamburger meat. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're turning the skin into a meat patty, and you'll get to a stage where you've got that much blood coming out of your tattoo. Blood coming out of the skin. It's actually pushing the ink out. It's actually pushing the ink out of the skin, and then the skin, it's not tight anymore. It's all beat up. It's all like cut, and if you're getting this when you're colouring in, I guarantee you're going to get a massive scab. For starters, you might irritate the skin so much that it ends up pussy, and you can run into all sorts of problems with doing this. And then the final result is the person's going to be, at the very best, they're going to have like a really crap tattoo, and worse, they could be scarred up. So here's a tip to solve this. And I know this is a paintbrush and this is paint, but it's no different with ink, okay? So what we do is, we have our cup of water. I always use distilled water, by the way, guys. But okay, so we dip into the ink, and what this does, it thins the ink out, and it doesn't thin it out to a point where it dilutes the colour, but it just gives the ink, because tattoo ink, if you get a decent quality ink anyway, you know, this tutorial, I'll say this actually before we go on, this tutorial, I'm talking to people that are using decent ink, okay? So Fusion, Eternal, Intense, any of those guys, you know, the list goes on. But what I'm saying is, use a leading brand. Don't be using this knockoff stuff from China, guys, because you don't know what's in it. And you can be putting all sorts into people's skins, people's bodies. And, you know, if you use decent ink, you're half the way there anyway. So I've dipped into my ink pot with my tattoo machine. Okay, and then a little dip into water. Just a little dip, that's all it needs. And that's all it needs to give your ink, because tattoo ink it has got a thickness to it. This is what I'm saying about decent inks anyway. I'm not talking the cheap inks that are basically coloured water. I'm about the decent inks. They've got a thickness to them. And what happens is, now when we're going to do our nice circles like we've been told, look at the difference. And again, this is an analogy, but the principle's the same. Now, I don't really need to explain the difference in them two. You can see how patchy this one is. Got all the gaps in it, you know. And this one's been beat up. You know, I've been over this one. What, did I go over it 2 or 3 times? This one time. It's in. And if you ever see the pros tattooing, you know, and they're just chilling with the machines and they're wiping off and they've got this beautiful colour in, it's all saturated. You notice these guys aren't getting any blood. And it's a massive misconception that you know, there's loads of blood when you're tattooing. You look at any of the pros, you shouldn't be getting all this blood. You might get a little bit of capillary bleeding, which is basically, you know, tiny pinpricks of blood appearing, and you tend to get that when you're doing a lot of shading, you're going over area quite a bit. But you shouldn't, guys, you shouldn't be getting like blood like pouring out of someone. And I've been to some tattoo shows where, you know, tattooists, registered tattooists, have been tattooing people, and you know, the guy's arms like dripping with blood. And guys, you shouldn't be getting that. If you're getting that, you're doing something wrong. Your machine's running wrong. You're going too deep. Something's up. If you're doing that, change your technique, guys. Rethink it. Don't practice on people. Just to recap, what we've done there. You know, from this was directly into the ink pot onto skin. This one was into the ink pot and touched it in water. Now, what I will say is, if you go away and do this, okay, if you run your machine in your ink, okay, so your machine's running when you dip it into your ink, don't run your machine when you go into the water, okay? I'm talking a touch, like you dab it in, because if you run the machine in water, you're going to kick all that ink out into your water, and then basically you're going to be trying to put colour in, and you'll be getting like a really washed out colour, if any at all. So what I'm saying is, by all means, run your machine in your ink pot. When it comes to your water, you want to be doing this. Machine's not running, and just a quick. That's all you need, just a quick dip. And you will get far better results doing that. And like you can see, I'll just show you one more time. So I just dipped into there, and again, look. It's effortless. And then you're going to wipe that off, and then you're going to move on to your next part. So hopefully this has helped some people out. Don't forget, guys, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for everything news, reviews and everything tattoos, and there'll be more videos coming soon. Cheers, guys.